All right, let's just get straight to it. Back in February 2026, India threw what was basically the world's biggest AI party. You had everyone there: Sam Altman, Sundar Pichai, the Prime Minister, something like 600 startups, all cheering for the future. But there was a number, a massive, really critical number that nobody said out loud.
250 million. Just look at that number for a second. What do you think that is? It's not investment dollars. It's not the number of new users. No, it's something way, way more important. That's how many Indian workers have jobs that are right in the path of this AI freight train. Can you believe it? India hosts this huge AI celebration, and nobody talks about the 250 million people who could get left behind. No big retraining plans, no safety nets discussed, just a party for a technology that's already changing the game. So, the big question, will AI take your job? Let's unpack the real story.
Look, we've all heard this before, right? New tech comes, some jobs go. But this isn't about robots on a factory floor. This is different. The head of the IMF called it a tsunami, and it's headed straight for white-collar jobs. We're talking about the very jobs that built India's middle class, the coding gigs, the BPO centers, the writing jobs. They're all on the front line now.
But here's the thing that should really get your attention: the speed. The Industrial Revolution, that took almost 100 years to play out. It gave our great-grandparents generations to adapt. The AI revolution is doing the same thing in, what, 3 to 5 years? The speed itself is the real threat. We've just never seen anything move this fast.
And hey, don't just take it from me. Listen to this. This is from Ajay Chowdhury, one of the co-founders of HCL. This guy helped build the Indian IT industry from the ground up. He's an insider. And he's sounding the alarm, saying the very heart of the service economy, BPO and coding, is in serious, serious trouble.
Okay, so this isn't just a hunch or some scary prediction. The threat has been measured. We're talking the biggest financial institutions, the biggest policy think tanks on the planet. They've all run the numbers. And you know what? They're all saying the same thing. So let's get real and look at the data.
Let's just walk through this, because each number here is a piece of the puzzle. The IMF, they say 47%. That's almost half of all jobs in India are exposed to AI. Then you have India's own NITI Aayog saying 60% of the formal jobs are at risk by 2030. And Goldman Sachs, they say 25 million jobs could be straight up replaced in 2026 alone. These are not small numbers. This is a seismic shift.
And if you're thinking, oh, this is a problem for tomorrow, think again. 55,000. That's the number of direct AI-related job cuts that happened globally just in 2025. It's already happening. The wave is here. So the real question is, which side of this are you on?
We've seen the huge, scary numbers. But now, let's follow the money and see where the jobs are actually disappearing. Where is this AI tsunami making landfall first? Let's go sector by sector. And we have to start with the big one, India's IT industry.
Okay, you really need to look at this because it explains everything. This is TCS. In one quarter, their headcount dropped by almost 20,000 people. 20,000! But look at their revenue. It went up. More money, fewer people. This is the new playbook. The old idea that when a company grows, it hires more people, that's broken. And look at the last line. They paused hiring for freshers. The whole IT pyramid was built on hiring tons of young people. That pyramid is now collapsing because AI is doing their job.
And behind every one of those numbers, there's a person. Just read this quote. It's from a BPO worker. Can you even imagine hearing those words? You're the first one. You're not just being let go, you're being told a machine is taking your spot. This is the human story that gets totally lost in all the charts and reports.
And it's happening everywhere. In IT, it's the junior folks. In BPO, some companies are cutting 80% of their call center staff. 80%? Look at finance, look at law. The routine stuff is just getting automated away. And we have to talk about this last point. It's hitting women the hardest. They make up the majority of the workforce in those Tier 2 city call centers. And for many, it was their first white-collar job. They have the fewest options to fall back on.
So when you have a crisis brewing on this scale, what's the government doing about it? I mean, they see the same numbers we do. So let's take a look at the official response and ask the really tough question. Is it even close to being enough?
To be fair, they are doing things. The 2026 budget was a big deal. They've got committees, they're putting money into an India AI mission, and they've added a bunch of AI courses to their training programs. But, and this is a huge but, their own economic survey is waving a red flag.
It's basically saying all this training isn't actually creating real jobs. There's a massive disconnect between the plan and the result.
And this is the official word from the IT minister. They're conscious of the challenges. Okay, great. But being conscious of a tsunami doesn't stop it from washing everything away, right? Acknowledging a problem is step one, but the action has to match the size of the crisis, and right now, it just doesn't.
All right, I know, that was a lot of doom and gloom. It's easy to feel like it's all over, but that's only one side of the coin. There's a really powerful argument that AI is actually going to create more jobs than it destroys. So let's flip it around and look at the reasons to be optimistic.
So this is the big global forecast from the World Economic Forum. And you have to see this. Yes, they predict 92 million jobs will be lost. That's the painful part, and it's absolutely real. But look at the next bar. They also predict 170 million new jobs will be created. So the net result? A gain of 78 million jobs. The story isn't just about loss. It's about a messy, difficult, but maybe, just maybe, positive change.
And these new jobs, they're not some fantasy. They are here, right now, in India. And they pay really, really well. I mean, who had even heard of a prompt engineer 5 years ago? Now they're making bank. And get this, data shows that just having AI skills can get you up to a 56% raise. The money is there, the opportunity is real. The question is, how do you get from here to there?
And that, right there, is the entire problem. A BPO agent in Nagpur can't just snap their fingers and become an AI specialist in Pune. That gap is everything. You need a bridge made of skills, of training, of a totally new way of looking at your career. So look at this slide again. Seriously, which one of these roles could be you? Are you the person who learns to talk to the AI, the prompt engineer, or the person who decides what the AI should build, the product manager? This isn't just a fun exercise anymore. It's a question you have to start asking yourself right now.
So how do you build that bridge for 250 million people? Well, countries are trying different things. You've got the US model, which is basically let the market figure it out. It's high risk, sink or swim. Then you have the Singapore model, which is a total opposite. The government gives people money every year for training, covers most of the cost, and even makes it mandatory if you get laid off. This is the choice India is facing.
Which brings us to the final, most important point. All of this, everything we've talked about, it boils down to a single choice. A choice between two completely different futures for millions of people in India. And that choice has to be made right now.
So this is it. This is the big debate. The optimist will tell you, relax, history's on our side. Every big invention ended up creating more jobs. They see AI as just a helpful tool. But then the realist steps in and points right back to that TCS slide. Revenue is up, jobs are down. And they ask the terrifying question, what if this time is actually different? What if we just can't learn fast enough to keep up?
This quote from the historian Yuval Noah Harari just hits it perfectly. It's not you versus the machine. It's you versus another person who knows how to use the machine. The real threat isn't some robot. The threat is your colleague or your competitor who figures out these new tools before you do. That changes everything, doesn't it?
And this is where the rubber meets the road. India's own think tank, NITI Aayog, has laid out the two futures. If we take bold action right now, we could create 4 million new jobs. If we do nothing, we could lose 1.5 million. The difference between those two outcomes is massive. So that brings us to the final question, and I want you to really think about this. Who's responsible for making sure we get to the good future? Is it A, the government, B, the companies, or is it C, you? Let me know what you think. The future really does depend on the answer.